Now the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Good to be with you, Wolf.
So how significant is it that the head of this data firm working for the Trump campaign directly reached out to Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, about obtaining emails from Hillary Clinton's personal email server?
Well, Wolf, I can't comment on what we may know from our investigation on this, but Mr. Assange did confirm having been contacted by the head of Cambridge Analytica seeking access to emails, stolen Hillary Clinton emails. If that's true, and you have to take everything Julian Assange says with a certain grain of salt, but if that's true, now this is a third effort to by those associated with the Trump campaign to reach out and interact with those who either stole or acquired stolen emails, because you had Roger Stone in direct contact with the Russian GRU posing as Guccifer II, as well as Roger Stone in contact directly or indirectly with Assange and WikiLeaks. You also had the opposition researcher Peter Smith, who was in contact apparently with people in the Trump campaign, as well as those on the dark web who were believed to be Russians that were in possession of these stolen emails. And now this, the data arm affiliated with the campaign, also reaching out to Julian Assange, someone that our current CIA director has basically said is in league with Russian intel. So that's the context of this. And with all of those connections going back and forth between the campaign and WikiLeaks and Guccifer, obviously areas of intense investigation by our committee.
As you point out, Congressman, Julian Assange personally confirmed the report. He says he rejected the offer, though, from Cambridge Analytica. What does that tell you?
Well, you know, again, Assange is not someone that you can trust. You know, it may or may not be significant. He confirms the contact. We may or may not be able to believe what else he has to say on this score. But it certainly does show a willingness now of at least a third party to reach out to those that are in possession of these stolen emails, those that are directly affiliated with Russian intelligence or working indirectly with Russian intelligence. And that shows certainly a willingness by multiple parties in the campaign, similar to the Trump Tower meeting, where they expressed a willingness in receiving dirt about Hillary Clinton. So on the Trump campaign side, lots of overtures to the Russians and Russian intermediaries, as well as WikiLeaks. And the question for our committee is, what did they get in response, and was there a level of coordination?
Are there potentially criminal actions that the special counsel, Robert Mueller, should look into?
Well, certainly, you know, surrounding this whole area, yes. And part of his charge is to look into this issue of collusion, and that is, was there collusion in terms of the hacking of the emails or the dumping of the emails? What was the nature of the interaction between the Trump campaign and any of the actors that are working in concert with Russian intelligence? So yes, this has got to be part and parcel of what the special counsel is looking at.
President Trump, as you know, he's reacting to the reports that the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee paid for some of the research that led to that dossier on the Trump team's ties to Russia, including potentially compromising information that the Russians may have on the president. The president says the Clinton connection proves that the dossier is fake. What do you think?
Well, you know, you can certainly understand why the president would make this argument, but I don't think it's any surprise to people because it's been reported by CNN back as far as January that this began as a Republican candidate op research, was then a Democratic candidate op research. The number of Democratic candidates at that point very limited, so not very surprising here, and there's certainly curiosity about who the Republican candidate is. None of that, though, sheds light on whether the allegations in the dossier are true. And in fact, we have been able to confirm certain of the allegations made in that dossier. What we need to investigate is how many of the rest can we prove or disprove, and who ultimately paid for the early part of the op research or later really doesn't bear that much light on this. But the president wants to make this out to be, you know, a hoax, as he likes to call it. It's unclear whether he thinks the whole thing is a hoax and still believes that China might have been responsible for the hacking and dumping of emails for the social media campaign. If he does believe that, he's probably the only one in the country who believes that. But this is a political argument that the president is making, and I have to say, as Bob Corker made so apparent yesterday, you simply cannot rely on what this president says.
I want you to stand by, Congressman. There's a lot more we need to discuss. I know your committee has been meeting behind closed doors with witnesses, including Donald Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. We'll get to that and a lot more right after a quick break.